Oh, hey there, and welcome to the Ope-Eh Three-Way Pro Wrestling Podcast. This episode 44 on this beautiful June 25th or June 26th or whenever you happen to catch this. Uh, One thing we're sticking with here, always, whenever day you happen to catch us, I am joined by my good buds, Donnie and Pierce. As always, fellas, how are we doing today?
I did not
We're
hear
good.
any of that. Sorry there. I tried opening the
Mike doesn't.
can there. Mike didn't pick it up.
Oh, Christ. What are you struggling with over there? That should be easy access there with you Canadians and your simple systems.
It's
What
No,
you
that was
can
my
read
can. So
temperature a lot
that
better
was
than us, but you can't
Pierce's. That
open
was
no
Pierce's
can.
can. That was Pierce's can. It wasn't mine. I got nothing. I had some rosé earlier. Rosé all day.
Oh, ooh la la.
Uh, uh,
Get your little vino.
yeah.
What you drinking, Pierce?
Liney's Liney Lodge Lime. I
Chinese.
still have one of these sitting around, so figure it was time to have a beer.
I
Yeah,
prayed for
good a
this
time
and
as
it
any.
happened.
Yeah,
So
hey, good a time as any.
Yeah. At least it's
It's
cooled off a
drink.
little bit, so it's not like a dependency to have those beers right now.
yeah, it
No.
is not wildly uncomfortable. It was completely terrible over the weekend. Now it's a little less not terrible, so we're doing good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
just
better
a little
here.
muggy.
We were like mid 30s here, which is got to be like the 90s, I would think, for your guys. But that's without humidity. It was super humid too. Let me do the old C to F conversion because it's impossible to know how this works. We're going to talk about this every week. We talk about the temperature, but yeah,
How's the weather,
95.
fellas?
It was
Celsius.
95 without the humidity. So
Oh, fuck that.
yeah,
Yeah, that sounds about on our level. Yeah,
so
but
yeah,
then
it
you add it
was
up, and then it's like a hundo and some change, which I'm
it
not
was in
even
the
fucking
hundreds
stepping
then,
outside.
considering the humidex and all that. So yeah, it was a pretty rough weekend, but cooling down now.
Oof,
Luckily, we got the AC going too, so no issues with that. Just when you go outside, it burns like hell. But
mm,
such a
mm.
summer. What are we talking about today, guys?
Night of Champions
Ah, yes.
Hey.
That's what we'll
and
cover. Night of
other
Champions and other. Oh,
happenings in
oh
wrestling.
yeah. We got some other stuff to talk about with wrestling. We can bring that up, but the primary focus for this episode is going to be predictions associated to Night of Champions coming up this Saturday. And I mean, but you know what? We could even probably talk about the three title matches now that I think about it on
On SmackDown.
SmackDown. Yeah, those are all in the same universe of the world, so we'll cover those two really quick.
And
But
weirdly, not on Night of Champions, the pay-per-view PLE where the whole point of it being made was every championship being defended. But that's not the point.
yeah, but
More like a weekend of champions.
instead you get what? One title match and two crown matches. Isn't that right?
Mm,
One title, two King of
Oh
the
no,
Ring.
there's three title matches. I forgot about no, two title matches. There's supposed to be
no,
three.
there's two.
There's supposed to be
Yeah.
three. Now there's two.
Fatu Solo.
Yeah.
Fatu
Anyways,
Solo.
you can catch us though on our social medias. We've listed them all, but talk about them again. That's Facebook. That's Instagram. That's X. That's TikTok. That's that wrestling one that Pierce created that one time.
Dropkicked.
Yes. Yes. Catch us on
Don't
all of
forget the
those
YouTubes.
places. And the YouTube and the Spotify. How do we always forget the ones where we actually put our full form content? That's really weird. And I
Well,
guess
we're
because it's not
expecting them
social
to
media the
follow us
same
by
way.
now.
Yeah, it's not social media the same way that the other ones are, I suppose. But yes, find
Mm.
all our content on those places. That said,
Beat me to it. We're going to
yes.
go back to 1976.
Oh God.
The WWF holds the showdown at Shea Stadium. The main event was a pre-tape match. It was a boxer versus wrestler match between Antonio
Oh boy.
Inoki and Muhammad Ali. Originally, it was in Japan. It was shown in the stadium to 32,000 and on closed circuit television. This was one of the first real big event matches that they ever had. It was billed as a super fight. If you go and watch it, it's really weird because I guess Ali was scared and Inoki was going to shoot on him. and Inoki was like crawling the entire match and kept kicking him in the leg, and that caused Ali to end up retiring. So,
That did it?
well, it caused blood clots, and you know,
Damn. That Enochism is no joke. Well,
no, it is
I
not.
mean, I can understand why they kind of revere him as like the second coming of Christ in Japan. Then
He's
statues.
honestly the innovator of strong style. So,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, his chin for days. Even then, if
and
it was strictly fisticuffs, I doubt Ali could have. Even Ali would have had a time with that. Straight up like Easter Island looking mofo. Anyhow.
we'll jump ahead 14 years to 1990. The Road Warriors would make their WWF debut, but not as the Road Warriors because there were 14 million warriors in the WWF at that time. Donnie, do you know what they were known as?
Legion of Doom?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Bada bing.
What a rush.
Bada boom. Collegiate.
1995. And good thing we're talking about Night of Champions. The third ever King of the Ring pay-per-view happens, and it is widely regarded as one of the worst pay-per-views ever put on in the
Oh
WWF.
boy, is it the one that King Mabel won?
Sure is.
Oh god.
The worst thing categorically ever. There's not a worse one.
Wasn't there one that Ahmed Johnson won?
I don't think so.
Oh.
He came close though, I think.
I know he did one year. He came close, yeah. But the was it? The finals was Mabel versus Undertaker, right?
And Mabel beat the Undertaker, and I believe this is when Undertaker got hurt against Mabel.
Yeah, that's when he had to wear the mask afterwards, right?
And then when they brought him back, no, he got hurt in Yokozuna. That's what caused the mask.
Oh, okay.
But there's a funny interview where after Mabel was let go and then brought back as Viscera, Undertaker made a point that he had to be in his stable because he did not want to work with him.
Working with him, I suppose, but certainly not against him.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the main event,
so.
WWF champion Big Daddy Cool Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow would defeat Psycho Sid and Tatanka of the, I believe, the $1 Million Man's group. I can't think of what they're called.
$1 Million Corporation.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
There was also the Kiss My Foot match between Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler. So,
Vince was on all
around good. But we'll jump ahead 5 years to a categorically really good year for WWF, 2000. The Rock would win his 4th WWF Championship by pinning Mr. McMahon in a 6-man tag team match featuring Triple H, Shane against The Undertaker, Rock, and Kane. Whoever got pinned in the match would leave the match as WWF champion for the face side. So, no matter who was pinned, they were going to be champion. So, Rock pinned Vince, won the championship. Attitude Era, man. What more do you want?
That just sounds convoluted as shit.
You let in saying this is a great year for the WWF, and then you threw that out there.
The best year WWF has ever had, except for maybe the last couple years. But it's still Attitude Era bullshit.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. No, I just thought it was funny.
I do have one for 2002, but we're actually going to jump ahead to 2015. Brandon, you'll like this. It's a TNA one.
Hey.
EC3 would defeat Kurt Angle, become TNA World Champ.
Yeah.
Mid-2010
I saw that coming.
Was a great time for TNA, but EC3 was a bright spot.
Yeah, it was capitalizing on a lot of potential that I think a lot of people saw in him from his NXT days. So, I mean, nowadays, like,
he's still NWA champ.
He was, yeah.
He
I don't know if he's talking Aunt Dixie anymore, but
he never really got in well in WWE, and that's no fault of his own. He did, when he came back, it was good work. It just was he never got pushed like he should have.
Well, and then how do you? That was prior to the current situation between WWE and TNA. So like, how do you expand on an EC3 lore in WWE at that time too? Like, what does EC3 stand for? Like, what does everybody know EC3 as a character from? Like, we're all just gonna tiptoe all around that, And I feel like if he got over, I feel like if he came around in like today's WWE, it'd be great. But you're right. He was a little ahead of his time in that iteration of NXT following his time in TNA.
But we'll jump back to 2002 on a SmackDown taping. Kurt Angle's in the middle of the ring, cutting a promo, saying he wants some competition. And out in some silver, terrible looking shorts and spiky hair walks John Cena, making his WWE TV debut. And here we are 25 years later. He's the champ. Or not 25, 23 years later. He's the champ. He's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, as a WWE superstar specifically. I mean, the debut match was great. He put him on an echelon. He got the props from The Undertaker, who was the champ at the time. And here we are now, going into his last year, his last run. And he faces CM Punk this weekend. We'll talk about that in a little bit, guys, but it's Night of Champions time.
Yeah, he was wearing red shorts in that match though, not silver.
Was it? I know you kind of. I know it was just some gross, terrible looking
Oh
shorts.
yeah, they look
Regardless,
terrible. But yeah, it was. He had silver ones as well early on, but the specific debut, I remember he was wearing those like red ones
Like
because he
orange
wore.
and blue.
Yeah, orange and blue or red. It was the same ones, same style that he wore in the Firefly Funhouse match. That's why I remembered it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
got to get
either
those
Oh, the
way,
historical
times.
accuracies down.
either way, one of the biggest moments in professional wrestling history. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll talk about Night of Champions. Night of Champions this Saturday for us, early afternoon? Question mark. I don't know the
I
exact
believe
start
About
time.
it's for you and noon for us. So I will not be watching it as it's going on because it is Pokemon Go Fest. So I'll be catching some Pokemons.
Oh, very good.
good for you, Bubba.
I gotta go visit my dad, so I won't be able to watch it live either. I'll watch it when I get home. But it'll be this Saturday from the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. First of two shows still. Are they're having a second show? No, they're not having a second show this year because they're doing the Rumble early in
Yeah.
2026. So only
Yep.
Saudi Arabia show this year, unless they decide to add another one, because who knows? They might do that. There are 6 matches on the card. Not 5, not 7, not 4, but 6.
What?
Like mixing it up,
6
keeping us on
matches.
our toes. And we will start with the 2 most recently announced matches that are first one is Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross.
I want Cross to win, but I know for the story he's going to lose.
It's not even
So
for the story, it's where it is.
that too, but I'm glad Cross is getting the show, getting a match, and on a PLE too, which is nice. He's been doing some of the best work this year, in my opinion. And I mean, his character work is second to none. But it's Sammy in Saudi. It's like Punk in Chicago. It's like Piper in Portland. It's like Brett in Canada. Can't really beat him.
This will be Karrion's 3rd televised match this year. Ignoring main event, those don't count.
Man.
The
Getting
first one
more.
being AJ
Oh,
Styles before Mania, and then he was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
mm. When
Uh,
anybody could be in the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial.
and then his last
Battle
match before
Royal.
that was when they fought the Wyatt Six.
What about his AJ Styles match?
That's what I said. I said that was the first one of 2025. He has literally only had, for televised matches, he has only had 4 matches since late August of 2024. His
Oh,
match
gracious.
before that tag match, his last match before that was in August 26th as a number one contender first round triple threat match of the IC title, where he lost to Jey Uso and Kofi Kingston. Well, him
Mm.
and Kofi lost, but yeah. So like this is he's probably overdue for a match, but he has no hope in hell of winning. Just even if you ignore the fact that it was in Saudi Arabia, and then you add in Saudi Arabia to the mix, guy's getting buried out there.
Chances of winning drastic go down.
Yeah.
To be fair, his character, while it could use a couple wins, is kind of made to lose because of being I can't remember who it is. Like, it's a guy on Instagram. He calls him the instigator of the inevitable. Um, his character kind of plays chess with the entire WWE roster. He told us that the Wyatts weren't what they were. Now they're being on SmackDown attacking everybody. He called out he called out Seth. He's calling out Sammy for a reason. I don't know if this leads to a Sammy heel turn. It very much could, but Cross's character work, like I said, second to none, and the way he just adds little things with each feud is always fun to me. So I hope he gets a good match, and I hope he continues to get his flowers from
I'm actually like digging into his match history, and oh my god. Like if I like oh man. So he won two singles matches. He's yet to win a singles match in 2025. He's only had one and he lost. In 2024, he won two singles matches that were televised. One against Kofi Kingston and the other against Xavier Woods, and they were both around the same time. Then his last singles win that was televised before that, I am scrolling a far, far way. Oh my goodness. He didn't win a single singles match in 2020. Oh, he did. February 24th, 2023. He
Was his
beat
last
okay,
televised singles win?
so the two singles wins he had against the New Day in the middle of last year, and then the one before that was beating Rey Mysterio in February of 2023.
Holy moly.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
if anyone can make a case for being egregiously misused on the main roster, especially considering they left and came back, it's Karrion Cross, man. And now
Yep.
I will say that as like we can all poke shit at him for his record and for the lack of exposure he's gotten over to that. But really, like, and he said it too, like, people have been making noise for him, and rightfully so, because he actually does put in work. He's not like, sitting on the sideline consistently bitching. Like, he's trying to put his face out there. He's trying to present a case for himself, being like, hey, y'all need me on this show. Like, there's a place for me here. And for his sake, at Night of Champions, I hope he brings his fucking A game for whatever time they give him, whether it's 5 or 25 minutes, which, I mean, the latter is highly unlikely, even including Sammy and Saudi. But man, I hope he makes the most out of the time that they allot him at Night of Champions. And it's not just another AJ style, like, oh, like, I knew I was going to lose all along kind of match.
I mean, that's been
It's by the end of this year.
his biggest criticism in general has been his ring performance. So I hope that he has a good match for his sake too, because getting the momentum that he has is definitely useful, and being put on this card in this spot against Sammy definitely helps put some spotlight on you.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to follow that up with a stinker though. Like, so
No.
hopefully they both have a good match. Sammy's a good performer with just about anybody, so it should be
Right.
doable. But I mean, we'll see what happens. But Sammy very clearly wins this match.
Yeah, that much is for sure.
The other match that was added this past Monday on Raw is a street fight between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez.
It's not a Riyadh street fight or a Saudi Arabian street fight.
It might be. It doesn't say that on Wikipedia. It might be a Saudi street fight. I don't know. But I mean, the last time we got a street fight was WrestleMania, and that didn't have anything specific to Vegas, even though it was called a Las Vegas street fight. So
a Sin City street
To
fight.
even worse, there was even less associated to it. It was literally just tables and chairs, and I already hated on that match a couple months back. But yeah, this
I,
is a street fight on Wikipedia.
I hazard to guess what a Saudi Arabian street fight would even look like.
Let's not
I'm thinking about
speculate, and
that.
instead, let's talk about the competitors in this match.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, good for Raquel. I'll say that.
with it
Similar
being a
vein.
street fight, I think Raquel has a better chance, especially with the unfortunate Liv Morgan injury, and maybe we see some Roxanne interference that causes maybe a Raquel win. With that said, Rhea Ripley. I don't have much else.
Yeah, like I just think back, like I specifically to Rhea Ripley in this conversation here. I think back to the first Saudi show that had women performing on it, and it was Natalia versus, was it Piper Niven
Sasha?
or was it
Uh,
Zelina Vega? I can't remember who the first match
hmm,
was, or maybe I missed.
that's gonna bother me.
It was Natalia for sure.
I know Natalia was in it. I need to
Which
Google
WWE, if
this.
you're listening, please present her as Natty and let her
Oh,
fucking destroy the roster.
it was Lacey Evans.
That's right.
It was
Yep,
Lacey
you're right.
Evans. Um, and the attire that they wore and the presentation that they had was terrible. I remember the Queen of the Ring. This is what I'm more specifically remembering. The Queen of the Ring, the very first one, where they had the finals that Zelina won when she became Queen Zelina, and they were just wearing like oversized T-shirts for them, and it looked terrible.
And she
Hmm.
won in a minute and a half.
And then I remember the presentation that Rhea got. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago in comparison, where she literally looked like a goddess out there, like the way that she was brought in as an intro to her match, and how incredible that just progress was compared to what we had seen in regards to women's wrestling there in the past. I find it hard to believe that Rhea would not win, but I'm going to say that Raquel Rodriguez is going to win this match due to some fuckery with the Judgment Day.
In a street fight, it's a
Yeah,
little more understandable for some fuckery to happen, but it's hard to say Rhea's gonna lose. So that's
it's
why
always hard to say that though.
Yeah,
I'm like 70-30 Rhea is
yeah.
where I'm kind of
I
sitting.
realistically, I do think Rhea's going to win, but I think for like if you want to really catapult Roxanne into the Judgment Day, this is the way to do it. Have her
Hmm.
help Raquel win this match. So
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that if you want to present Rox as an asset to the Judgment Day, and you want to further this along, not like Rhea needs the win. Obviously, she is the biggest moneymaker in all of women's wrestling. So you got to figure if they're going to a market outside the states, they generally tend to slant towards those types of individuals when it comes to like win loss records and things like that. That being said, I feel like this is one of those instances where Rhea could probably afford to take a loss. It's not like it has any championship ramifications. I mean, Rhea doesn't really stand to benefit from beating Raquel in this case. And especially when you consider follow ups and things like that, I feel like Raquel has everything to gain. And when we're talking about furthering the storyline with Liv being gone, they need to accelerate on that and make sure that Rox is within her spot, which I believe is alongside Raquel as co-women's tag champs. Maybe a little bit of a spoiler there, a little bit of a prediction, shall we say? But I think that's the route they go with in this show, in this instance.
cool. Next up for the WWE United States Championship, Jacob Fatu defends against Solo Sikoa.
So I was thinking about this match earlier. Solo in Saudi is a thing. He has a pretty damn good record in Saudi. And I mean, he beat John Cena. He pinned Roman Reigns there last year. It's a
Yeah.
lot of. He's done a lot of good work out there. And I think because of the JC Mateo, even with the Big Jim Jacob little partnership that they're starting, I think Solo is going to win the U.S. title.
Really?
I think it's going to be a hoss fight. I think they're going to get like 10 minutes just to beat the fuck out of each other. If I could, don't use this too often, but we should.
Big meaty man slapping meat.
I think you use it every show.
Yeah, I mean it's the greatest button of all time. Surprised I didn't get a shut up bitch or go fuck yourself there.
No,
But-
it wasn't necessary. I'd save that for that's the ROH segment.
Oh, come on. Why you gotta, never mind. I'm not going to say nothing.
Yeah, because you would get that button if you said something.
Never mind. I'm letting the horse out of the barn there. Anyhow, we were saying Solo.
I think Solo's going to win the U.S. title because of some shenanigans. I think Jacob's going to. It's not going to be a clean loss, but I think Jacob is going to probably get pinned, and it could be a dusty finish, and they do something bigger at SummerSlam. I think that would be fine. Hi, Marta, and Donnie just got really mad because I disrupted the show.
No, it's not even that. It's not about that. You can say hi to her when she walks by. She's just being very loud in the background.
Did not hear a thing, but I saw her, so I said hello. Anyway, I think Solo walks out of Night of Champions as the new U.S. champ. He's kind of overdue for gold anyway.
Yeah. It's one of those where I could see them having kind of an ongoing series because, especially leading into SummerSlam, they can, I mean, when we talk about wins and losses that can be afforded here, I'd say Jacob, especially when you factor in JC Mateo and potentially Hikuleo, depending on when they decide to drop him in that picture, and where they decide to drop him in. I feel like this is a show where they could give Solo, maybe a month as U.S. champ, and then potentially even drop it back to Jacob. I mean, they could there's enough there where I feel like it doesn't need to be a one and done. This doesn't need to be even if Jacob were to lose, there's a lot for Jacob to do. Even if it was a one and done, we could look at getting him main event ready, right? Because there's already that talk of that being a pretty, near to do thing. But there's also a lot of story to be told within the Solo Jacob. And it'd be an interesting dynamic too, considering you have a lot of people who are really digging this new direction that Solo's been going in over the past couple months. And when you consider the character development he's genuinely a fucking likable dude. Like he's he's funny as shit. Don, I'm sure you'd agree with that one.
I'm a big fan of Solo right now.
Yeah, I am too. I actually really like how he's turned his character around. And I think it'd be interesting if you had an elongated, sustained dynamic between a guy who's effectively face based on the fact that he's just a badass, right? Like Jacob Fatu. But then here's Solo Sikoa, who, while he is heel through and through, people just seem to enjoy him. He's a likable baddie. And like, how are you going to it'd be an interesting challenge for whoever's, writing up their stories or figuring out their plot lines or whatever. But I'd be very interested to see a couple months worth of Solo and Jacob back and forth. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Again, there's so much there. They've had them together for a year. Jacob was one of the first guys besides Tama Tonga on Solo's side post Bloodline split. So I feel like there's a lot to be told there. And I feel like this could just be the beginning for it. But I could easily see Solo taking Jacob's title in the meantime.
I think Jacob retains here. I do think the feud gets extended, but I don't think Solo wins the title here.
Do you see him winning the title?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure.
I mean, Pierce did have a point. Like, there have been many opportunities that Solo's had for championships, and he's come up short on most all of them. Well, entirely all of them.
He's never held a title.
Not a main roster title. He's been North American champ.
For a minute.
It was literally for a day, and then he was like, you weren't supposed to be in that match, and they stripped him of it.
Oh, but it sure does look good on me, though, what he said. It's funny, I was talking shit even as he's getting his title taken from him. But, I mean, So you don't know if you see him winning the
I
championship, at
honestly
least
don't
not the United
know.
States.
I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that he will win. Um, I'm not sure.
Okay,
I don't feel strongly one way or another as of yet as to whether he will
fair
win
enough.
the U.S. title or it'll be something else at a different time down the road.
Hmm. Hopefully, this Friday night on SmackDown, we can have some convincing one way or another.
Well, no, that match is
That's a that's a. Hmm?
that match is on Saturday.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying we still got one show left before
Oh,
Saudi, so that's where,
right.
yeah, build the story and push it forward, and hopefully
Oh,
sell
I
a
think the
couple extras.
story's there. I just like I said, I'm not convinced that Solo will win the championship in this feud,
Hmm.
whether it be
Sure.
Well,
for
that's what I
women's
was saying.
or extended. Like I'm not sure.
I
We'll
think,
see.
I think it'll be a fun match
Hmm.
regardless. I think it'll be
Yeah,
a good hoss.
Oh yeah,
agree.
most definitely.
Next up is the Queen of the Ring final, where the winner in both of these next two matches we're going to talk about, but the winner faces a title match for their respective brands' world championship at SummerSlam. And on the women's side, it is Asuka versus Jade Cargill.
I know Jade is like the next in line megastar. That is for sure. She looks like a star. She's gotten better in ring since joining WWE. Her presentation has not changed at all. She's a one of one type of star. That being said, I think Asuka would benefit more as Queen of the Ring versus Jade. Because they've kind of been building Jade versus Tiffy anyway. So that match is going to happen regardless. And I think they're kind of building Asuka versus Io for SummerSlam regardless. And I think having Asuka win the Queen of the Ring might just be a little better. I'm leaning Asuka, but I can see it going both ways. This is the most 50-50 match for me on the card.
Yeah, I don't think it's Jade's time quite yet. At least not in that capacity. Not in the capacity to wear Queen of the Ring. Um, I'm of the opinion that given how criminally little Io Sky has been featured, never mind, with matches and everything since WrestleMania, she
Io
hasn't had a
Sky has not
match,
defended her title since winning it at WrestleMania.
She
which
barely
is
been featured
crazy
on
to me.
TV.
So, I mean, if for nothing else, give Asuka the crown to add one more accolade, and she's coming in hot off of a return. Give it to her so she can at least generate some excitement towards a women's world title match. If for no other reason than to give Io some spotlight as well, then and create a potential dream match scenario that a lot of people have had for a little bit. I don't see as much being generated in Jade winning it. Jade, like you said, Pierce, is pretty much next in line. There's no real reason for her to jump the gun now. I feel like, especially, she could use, in my mind, a little more season, especially kind of given the fact that there's still some weird little, and this is just me being me, some weird little communication things going on in the ring, particularly noteworthy with her and Roxanne Perez. Um, I just don't think she's at that level yet, I guess, where she could believably beat like a Tiffany Stratton, become WWE Women's Champion, and sustain that title, that main event slot
We've seen
long
what
term.
happens when people are not ready for the main event. Look at
Right.
Roman in 2015. It took him 8 years and a character change for that to finally work.
Right.
And I think they could still run Jade Tiffy at SummerSlam. I'm not saying they shouldn't because it's still a marquee match. But I think Asuka winning Queen of the Ring is. I mean, Asuka's won every single accolade possible for the women besides the mid card titles at this point. Add another one, keep showing why she is one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. Give her the crown and make her a true empress.
Yeah, um, I think Asuka wins. Uh, for some reason, Nia Jax is still in the mix when it comes to the women's championship on SmackDown. Don't really get that, but she is. We saw
I'm
last
always
week.
fine with her in the mix. She's been
Uh,
great since she's back.
I think the feud is kind of. It started at the beginning of the year. Well, the seeds were planted before then, but I mean, the title change happened in the first show of the year, and now they're
Right.
still technically feuding. because she came down to beat down Tiffany just last week on SmackDown. So
They got their match on Friday that we'll talk about after this. It's
yeah.
just
So we don't know how much longer that's going to go on for. I do think Asuka against Io is a more intriguing match at this point as well, because I don't think they've really positioned Asuka clearly as a face or as a heel. I think in that backstage segment she had on Raw with Io, she didn't seem like she was going to be super buddy with her in that exchange. So I think a heel Asuka versus a face Io would be a pretty solid match for SummerSlam, and that's what I would like to see. So I'm gonna go with Asuka. That
I do find
takes.
it interesting, though.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I mean, just kind of as a broad scope, I feel like it's interesting that you have one heel, I think, total that you can clearly say is in the final picture of. Actually, no, you can't even really say that, can you?
No,
Because it's Cody, Randy. There's like no heels. I think you can clearly define in the
yeah. The only
finals,
heel that made even the
Queen of the Ring,
semifinals was Roxanne Perez.
right? Yeah, this is it. It'll be interesting just based on that alone, I feel,
It's funny because there's
because
always
there's
a
a lot
lot
of
of
speculation.
dialogue that there's more heels than there are faces on television. I know I've seen that kind of dialogue over the last few months, and then you see the King and Queen of the Ring tournament and how that all shook out, and it was literally just 7 of the 8 people in the semifinals were faces. I mean,
Yep.
you could argue that maybe Asuka isn't necessarily a face. We don't really know that,
Mhm.
but Jade is a
Asuka,
face. Randy Orton and
Asuka's in
Cody.
that. Everybody's happy to see her again. Part of her
Yeah,
return.
yeah,
So
I'm
it's
not.
hard to say if she's a face or heel.
Yeah, but yeah, Randy, Cody, Sammy, Jay, Jade,
Well,
Alexa.
according to Karrion Cross, Sammy is a dickhead. So
Yeah, we're not listening to that.
he's been proven right time and time
We're
again.
not. We're not listening to that. Not right
I
now.
listened to him. Shout out Cross, friend of
Oh
the
my.
pod.
Oh my God.
Any hoodle.
Sammy is not a heel.
I'd be very. I feel like you'd be very hard pressed to see Sammy as a heel, especially
That's as
considering.
bad as a 3-night WrestleMania take to say that Sammy's a heel
Everybody
right
that
now.
Why do you
Sammy's
throw?
been friends with
Wow,
for
I'm
the
jumping on
past
the
3
agreement train.
years, for the most part, has fucking been just going off the deep end. Roman, Kevin Owens, Solo,
Jay Uso? No.
Heat.
He was best friends with Jay Uso for the longest time.
Yeah,
Nothing's
still
happened
best friend.
there. Friends with Cody, aligned with CM Punk. Come on now. That's weak. Not selling me on that at all.
And by my statement.
I know you're a big Karrion Cross fan. I get it. You got to wear your your fan badge with honor. I don't have a problem with Karrion Cross. I'm just saying that that he's not a heel.
This is my ROH segment of the week.
Yeah, it feels like that almost. I almost need to get that button dusted off for that, but
Wow,
All
I
nevertheless,
didn't
right.
even do
So
nothing.
nevertheless, men's King of the Ring tournament final. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Winner will face John Cena
it,
because they're both
yeah,
on SmackDown. So
Yeah.
uh, I mean, this is the most obvious match of the night.
yeah, okay, okay,
I'm happy.
sorry. Hold on, hold on. Let me rewind here for a second. Pause. We don't know at Randy Orton or Cody, whoever wins would face John Cena because we don't know that John Cena is going to be champion and CM Punk is on Raw. But
Whoever the champ of the respective brand is, and if Punk were to win, he would get transferred to SmackDown. Simple as that.
mm,
Uh, that being said, Cody Rhodes is going to win here. It took us a long time to get to this match. This is one of it. It's one of the bigger matches that WWE can put on, and it's not even a main event match for that matter. It's just going to be. I would probably assume it's semi-main event. Maybe it opens the show because you usually want your bigger match. You want your biggest matches opening and closing a show. That's how they usually structure a wrestling card. And this wrestling card is special because there's 6 matches on it instead of 5. So there's that. Just wanted to pop Donnie there specifically.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be a slow burn match. I think it's going to be a longer match just because these two kind of always start slow and then heat up near the end. It seems like Cody's been winning with a single crossroads lately. I think that's going to continue. Don't shake your head at me. He has been winning with one crossroads lately, Brandon.
Well, I'm not saying he has not been. I'm just saying for the sake of this match, I don't foresee that. Especially when you consider what's at stake.
And whose opponents?
I expect 20 minutes of good old fashioned traditional wrestling. Talking Southern wrestling from the Georgia territories. And I expect a Cody win. King
I think
Cody.
I think there'll be a lot of callbacks, definitely, in their match. They both have a lot of history with one another, and I feel like people have been jonesing for a match between the two of them partially because of that. That being said, I expect them to both bring their A game to this match. I think they're going to give everybody a show. I do think King Cody, as a result of this, because I don't know how you don't have Cena Cody 2 at SummerSlam. I mean, Cena Orton 2 has its own intrigue as well, but obviously, with WrestleMania being what it was, being the manner in which Cody lost the championship, and then the moral implications Cody was juggling with, whether he wants to be the good guy or he wants to win, right? So,
Well,
I mean, clearly Cody made
his
his.
soul was in the balance too during that match.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and whereas I think Cody's soul, we can say, is firmly encamped, ensconced, if you will, in his own body.
It is,
Uh,
or his
without
wife and daughter have it, but nevertheless.
Or
true,
the ring.
yeah, you got to discuss it a little bit.
Or the ring and the fans. That's what he said.
Or the ring, yeah. Yeah, what they go, whoa, yeah, that's an
He
expression
said a
of
lot
Cody.
there. I mean, the most memorable thing that he said was,
"Go fuck yourself."
Oh.
Damn right.
Yeah, I was there. Oh, I wasn't there. You were there for that,
I was
Donnie.
there.
I was sitting here in spirit on my couch.
I was there for
But
that monumental moment.
You were sitting in spirit on the couch.
yeah, I was there in spirit.
In spirit on the couch. In reality, not on the couch.
Not on the couch.
Yeah, no, Don was firmly in a seat, I'm sure, watching John Cena kick Cody Rhodes in the nuts. But
Doing
I
this
also
in
got to
pride.
see, got to see Cody get kicked in the nuts. But I don't think it's going to happen a third
Cody
time.
get kicked in the nuts, but yeah, Cody's going to win this match. They already had booked Randy versus Cena as the last time ever, and I mean, maybe John Cena likes having matches not actually be the last time ever, but
yeah, it's not like WWE to lie to us about things.
Yeah, but in this case, I think I think Cody wins and may or may not challenge John Cena at SummerSlam. We'll get into that right now, and that is what will likely be the main event. We have the Rebel GOAT champion of John Cena defending his WWE Championship against TKO company corporate man Punk, CM Punk.
So I've been on record saying that Cena's best match of his retirement year was going to be against CM Punk. We probably should have known that the build for this was going to be the best build he's had since he turned heel. Cena cut his own pipe bomb. It's one of the best Cena promos ever. It started almost exactly the same way as the original pipe bomb. Cena in a match with Ron Killings. Somebody going through a table. He didn't say cross legs at the top of the stage, but saying it basically to Punk's face, I think was better. The build for this has been fucking fantastic. The yin and yang video package is great. I liked how they took out the words Vince McMahon out of between kissing and ass. I thought
Kissing
that was
ass.
The only thing you're better at is kissing ass.
Yeah, that was a great little edit there.
I think you could honestly make an argument for CM Punk winning, but I think that argument, and this is coming from one of the biggest Punk fans in the world. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. I don't think anybody's ever going to usurp that.
It sure seems like Karrion Kross has.
I love Cross, but I'm a Punk guy through.
Keep going.
Karrion's my boy, but I'm a Punk guy. Chicago made is a big thing for him, but we're not in Chicago. If this was 2011 Money in the Bank, you bet the fucking house on Punk.
No, we're in Phil's second favorite place to perform.
Milwaukee?
Saudi Arabia.
He's a half Milwaukee adopted because when he was in UFC, he trained in Milwaukee. So
true. Rufus sport. But he's a little far from home nowadays, though.
You don't bet the house this time. You bet it on Cena. I assume there's a belt shot. I kind of hope there isn't. I want a clean finish.
You're not getting a clean finish in this match.
I think it would do this story justice if it was a clean finish.
You're not getting a clean finish in a John Cena match in 2025.
Let me huff some copium.
Let me huff some
fucking copium.
Nope. Not going to happen.
I mean, I'd pop if CM Punk kicked Cena in the dick one time.
Direction you can fuck.
He might well. He might very well kick Cena
I can see
in the
that.
dick.
That'd be it.
But he's still going to get hit in the head with the title, and he's still going to lose this match. Cena wins.
Yes.
We get Cena and Cody at SummerSlam. That one will have a bit more intrigue to it. But, yeah.
I think intrigue-wise, even more than the Mania match, this is the most intriguing match Cena's been in all year.
Oh, yeah. It's got a lot of layers to it.
I mean, Punk's promo about the GOAT that he's going to sacrifice to the wrestling gods. I mean, we should list out our our best promo artists ever and do that as an episode sometime soon because
we can't fit it in our schedule with how many shows they schedule.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. That's correct. But I mean, even at this late stage of his career, and we're getting full-time CM Punk in his late 40s, which is so surreal.
Yep.
And he's still cutting some of the best promos I've ever heard. And it's just, there's not many like him on the mic. There's nobody like him on the mic except maybe Paul Heyman. And it makes sense those two are so close and are so intertwined. But at the end of the day, it's Cena's retirement tour. It's not Punk's. And John Cena will retain and still be the unseen 17.
Not 18. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, certainly not 18.
Yeah, definitely not 18. Brandon?
I mean, I see Punk doing a couple things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily expect him, like kicking Cena in the dick, right? I think the intrigue in this match for me comes from the fact that, and I feel like it's not for reasons that are probably obvious, right, that are not addressed, but Cena alluding to the fact that Punk will eventually have to just admit that he's a hypocrite in taking a match in Saudi Arabia, considering how long and how vehement he has been pretty publicly,
very public,
against performing in Saudi Arabia. If there was any one single match, all things considered, that Punk was going to perform in Saudi Arabia for, this would be it and only it. John Cena's farewell tour, Saudi Arabia, their last championship match together, with everything considered. This is like a stars aligning kind of a match for that alone. That being said, too, it would be interesting to see if they choose to play into that accusation of Punk being a hypocrite, and if they decide to flesh out some more of Punk's character as well, because let's be honest, Punk in the past in character has shown to kind of change his morals, change his stances on things, do what he needs to do in order to get ahead, right? And if it meant he could get one over on Cena ultimately, then I can see in this context Punk doing what he needs or feels he needs to do in order to come out on top here.
AKA kicking the dick.
Yeah. In addition to some other things potentially, but
at the Royal Rumble 2026, before Punk's in the Rumble, he should have a match with The Miz.
I mean, assuming Punk's in the Rumble in 2026, right? We don't know.
He could be champion.
But,
Doesn't need
I
to
mean,
be in the Rumble.
So he
right?
has a
Yeah,
match
that
with The
could
Miz.
be the card he
He
plays.
could get kicked in the dick before the show starts, and then he wouldn't be in the match.
He suffers from anal bleeding or whatever the fuck
I don't
Michael
know how
Cole
that
wanted
would
to
be
put it up.
accomplished from getting kicked in the dick, but
Well, you
okay.
go a little too far. No, yeah, we don't need to get into the biology of it, but
Extreme hernia and hemorrhoid in one kick.
yeah, some bad things happen in those scenarios. But no, I do not see Punk winning in this case. Cena's going to take it all the way to the end, and I'm firmly believing. I think it's interesting too how they took truth out as a variable in this scenario too, because you could even argue, like in that context, that Punk could utilize truth, but they seemingly have been trying to kind of edge him out of this whole, because he's not supposed to be
He
in
wasn't
this
supposed to
story,
be in it
right?
to begin
He's
with,
not
and now
supposed to be here.
they're
So then
shoehorning
here comes
this
Damian Priest.
Aleister Black thing and Damian Priest thing in
Yeah,
there, and it's just like
Killings is Dante from Clerks. He's not supposed to be here today.
that segment last week on SmackDown was not good. I'm sorry.
It was weird.
That is not how you're going to continue to get fans to cheer for Ron Killings or R-Truth. That was not a good segment. Beating up one half of Pretty Deadly because the other half is already injured, it accomplishes nothing. Like it's stupid. Quite frankly, it was stupid. So I
and
don't
to
know
call
why
out John Cena
yeah, like
when he's already
have a match
jumped
later in
him
the evening.
twice. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was interesting.
Yeah, not good. But yeah, Cena. We all agree Cena retains here. We get
Oh
Cena
yeah,
Cody at SummerSlam. Punk
oh yeah,
probably gets tied up with Seth Rollins again, for all
oh
we
yeah,
know.
oh yes,
It would
yeah.
make sense.
So that covers Night of Champions. Really quickly, we're going to talk about the 3 title matches on SmackDown here. I'll just do a really quick overview here. For the women's uh, United States Championship, Zelina Vega defends against Julia.
Julia. Knees to faces.
I'd be really hard pressed to go against Julia. It sucks for Zelina because Zelina can go, and Zelina, when you give her something to work with, like she can go on the mic, she can go in the ring, but she hasn't really been doing dick with this title reign, and I feel like Julia holding the title would kind of liven the scene up a little bit more. So
Get some new blood in
I'd
there.
have to say,
Go Julia.
For the
I'd have
most
to say Julia.
with Triple H, he likes long heel runs and short face runs. Cody with standing. So
Yeah, he's not terrific at booking faces. At least not booking them as like
he can
good
build
long term.
very good at the build, but booking a face after they win the championship is the hard part. So
Well, look at Sami Zayn in NXT. Perfect example of that. Or Johnny Gargano.
Johnny
Like
Gargano, Lee.
Sami Zayn was champ in NXT for like a cup of coffee, and then Kevin Owens powerbombed into fucking hell, and now Kevin Owens is a champion, one of the biggest heels on planet Earth. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting and unfortunate in some cases, but yeah, I don't see Zelina in this case walking out with the U.S. title.
I also think Julia should win. For the WWE Tag Team Championships, the Street Profits defend against the Wyatt Sixes, Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy.
This is tougher. It sucks that the Wyatts kind of lost some momentum even since coming back. I'm still intrigued by the Wyatts. I mean, I like everything that they do. I like their presentation. Their theme music is incredible. I think the Wyatts win. Probably do some shenanigans and then just let them run rampant over everybody. Show them to be absolute murderers, like when they killed Chad Gable that one time.
Shout out Chad Gable. Get better soon. Also, shout out
Mhm.
Grande Americano, clearly a different person, but also fighting an injury.
Brandon, we're talking directly to you about that. He is different people.
The exact same injury. Whoa, who'd have thunk it? Hey?
You know how often that happens in wrestling?
The exact same injury at the exact same time for people that share exactly similar profiles? No, I don't know exactly how often that
What's Chad
happens.
Gable's injury? Do we know what Chad Gable's injury is?
They didn't really disclose it from what I
Yeah,
read.
I mean,
They said he was struggling with something.
yeah, and he needs surgery, right? So I mean, uh, Liv Morgan has a shoulder injury. Dominic Mysterio's injured. Maybe any of them
Kevin
could
Owens
be.
is injured.
Yeah, Kevin Owens is
There's a
injured.
lot of
Yeah, they could
Tonga
all be. They could
Loa.
all be. Yeah,
Kit
Tamatonga,
Wilson?
Tongaloa.
Is it Kit Wilson or is it the other one?
Kit Wilson is injured,
Uh,
right?
no, Kid is okay.
Oh, it's
What's the damn it? What's the other one?
Feel
Ah,
bad for
Kit
him, though.
Wilson.
He's like pretty deadly. Yes,
They need
boy.
to they need to have them on TV more. Then I would know their names better.
uh,
Prince.
Elton Prince.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Elton
yeah,
Prince.
he's the hurt guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any one of them could also have the same injury that El Grande Americano has, and therefore could also then be El Grande Americano. But, anyways,
what's I can't see it, but I'm assuming you're reaching for straws over there, Dom,
no,
Start
I'm
reaching
somewhere
for
on
actually
the other side of
switching
your
back
screen.
to the Wyatt Six here, and I'm as big of a Wyatt Six fan as anybody in the sense that I bought basically all of their merch when they were first coming back, like Bray Wyatt's
Hmm.
merch, Uncle Howdy's merch. I have a bunch of it, and I'm actually still very disappointed in their return since they've been back these last like. It's nice to see Gacy and Loomis getting time in the ring because I think they're both relatively unique as wrestlers and can bring
Hmm.
something new to the table. But why isn't Eric Rowan wrestling? Why isn't Uncle Howdy wrestling? Why isn't Nikki Cross wrestling? Right? Like,
Right?
what are they doing? There's three other people, and the faction just feels too big. I know the significance of having the people that they do and the number associated to it and why it's the sixth guy, right? Like I get that. But like there's too many people still in this faction doing nothing. You got Bo Dallas
I
cutting
agree.
promos, and then we've got Eric Rowan and Nikki Cross doing nothing.
It's being spooky.
Great.
And right, like,
Great. It's
does
Trying to get
that
on
disappointing.
work?
board.
If
What are we doing here?
And as a result of that, I don't think that Gacy and Loomis should be winning the tag titles here. I think the Street Profits will retain.
yeah, and from what I heard too, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but when the Wyatt Six faced the Machine Guns, I heard that the Wyatts kind of, I don't know if they underperformed per se, or if they just didn't show that great of chemistry with the Motor City Machine Guns and the kind of match they wrestle, but it didn't create a great case for the Wyatt Six being in a tag team championship match. From what I heard, like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch it. Um, but I mean, and it sucks too for the Profits because if the Street Profits lose, like they're coming off on what people have been clamoring for a long time too, and them being featured more, and their characters being resurrected and receiving more feature and development. So then you're just going to throw this all away just because the Wyatt Six show up. I don't know. I
I
feel
mean,
like
that was their first tag match this year, by the way. Loomis and Gacy. They
what's
have
that?
not had a tag
Oh, that
match.
was.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I guess.
besides that match.
Sure. Well, I guess then that kind of contributes to it, but all the same, right? Like I feel like you could make more of a case of them getting a bit more seasoning in tag matches before you just all of a sudden decide to throw them in title matches and then potentially win the titles. Again, from a team that people are like, "Oh, thank God we got the Street Profits back in a role and like looking like they're actually thriving in it." You know,
Mm.
because right, I feel like Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins have been kind of on the back burner for quite a while. They haven't won the tag titles. They hadn't won the tag titles in many years prior to winning this last go around.
Yep.
So then you sacrifice them on the altar and all the progress that they've made and the standing that they now have in the tag division because Wyatt's, I don't know. I'm a big fan like you are, Don, of the Wyatt Six. I love their presentation, love their work, love the lore behind them. But at the end of the day, like they only West wrestled one tag match this whole year, and I feel like they could stand, especially since they are such a character-driven squad. Never mind the team. I feel like you're better serviced getting the Wyatts, building them up before you just throw them in to the top of the card like that in the tag division.
Yeah, that's
But
warranted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip ahead here, unless Pierce, you want to add something else?
No, I mean, you guys make good points. I still think the Wyatts might win, but
They might. They might. There's still a chance they can win. I'm not saying that it's impossible for them to win. They got to work on
I
their
think
own presentation, I think, before they're presented as champions. If it was up to me. And the third title match is Tiffany Stratton defending against Nia Jax.
yeah,
it is Tiffy time. That's all I have to say about it.
it's still Tiffy time. I mean, it's hard, and right, you still have Naomi walking around out there too.
I'm
So
gonna say it. Naomi cashes in during this match or after this match.
I have to think that's. I
It
hope
would make
that's
sense.
accurate. Yeah,
I
it
think
definitely makes sense.
it's definitely a physically imposing match for Tiffany. So if she was
Is it
to
a street fight? It's a street fight, right?
It's a
There's-
last woman standing.
last woman
That's what it is.
standing, last woman standing. Yes.
Yeah,
So they're both going to be beaten up.
Spent.
It completely makes sense for um, Naomi to get involved in this after the match, and it also gives the Saudi Arabia crowd another huge moment that I'm sure they paid
Gotta
a lot of money for.
appease the prince on his sweet 16th birthday.
Yeah, so I would go as far as saying I expect an actual cash, not some like fake attempted handoff, someone gets involved, whatever. I actually expect there to be a cash in on Friday.
right. Yeah, win or loss, let's learn from the mistakes of the last Money in the Bank reign with Tiffy, coincidentally enough, and like let's capitalize on opportunities that are actually sensible and like let's get this shit over with. Win or
Yeah.
loss.
Tiffy's cash in was fucking fantastic. And then what they explained why she did it that way was great. But the constant stop start of her, am I going to cash in? Am I not going to cash in? Was kind of dumb. But I think Naomi is a better just immediate cash in. So
Yep. Okay, well
Yeah.
that's the shows we got this weekend. Um, anything else you guys wanted to add?
um, we got anybody to shout out? Brandon, anybody you want to shout out? Maybe for leaving him off your list?
Wait, say what now?
Or Wells Mania for leaving him off your list?
Oh, Wells Mania, the wrestling classic, Stash Club Wrestling. Who else? Well, this is why I said this. Is why I said the list is prone to addition, right? Like
That's true.
I got a good dump in there. You know,
We got a lot of
phrasing,
good friends in the wrestling space.
I got a good dump in there. Yeah, no, shout out to all the good folks who catch us on the pod, who follow us on socials, and who work with us and encourage us to be the best that we can be. So yeah, hope to do a little bit more collaboration with some of you fine folks if you happen to be listening. Um, other than that, shout out to uh, for once Tony Khan for reading the room and hitting the me muere during the Mystico match at AEW Grand Slam Mexico. That I felt was that was a great bit of presentation there. Were we going to talk about AEW?
I don't
Yeah,
know
what?
what you're talking about.
So, okay, so you know about Mystico, right? Sin Cara?
Yeah, the original Bocce Sin Cara.
Yeah, but he's not so botchy in Mexico. So it was really cool. I know, like, we were talking about, like, you know, Grand Slam Mexico is kind of hard to catch. But the one thing I will say, besides MJF being all the way back as, like, I'm going to fucking kill you heel now, they played this song. It's kind of like Kaze ni Nare, like how people respond to it. But Mystico, obviously in Mexico, mega star, right? Outsold John Cena, Randy
CMLL is a
Orton.
big-
Yeah, between 2000 and 2009, he was selling out Arena Mexico like every fucking week. Bigger than Cena, bigger than Orton. They came out to Me Muere, the song that he used to come out to, and the entire Arena Mexico was singing along with it. Some people are just crying. There's a lot of passion in the audience, and I thought it was a really cool moment for AEW in particular, but also Lucha Libre as a whole, because I thought it showcased to a broader audience like just how really tied Lucha Libre is into culture in Mexico. I think it's cool that Lucha Libre in general is getting a broader focus now with, the AAA acquisition and CMLL now being, this point of focus with AEW.
And the 4 million pesos match that Hologram won.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shout out to Hologram, 4 million additional pesos in your bank account, muchacho. I don't know.
Don't be so excited about that, Donnie.
Huh? Sorry?
Don't be so excited about that.
I think those cash matches are stupid no matter where they are. And the fact is, like, oh, it's
I
a
agree.
4 million pesos match. Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah, it was a bit silly. One more win under Hologram's belt, though. You gotta put Hologram out there.
Have either of you
Still
guys bought the
Tony's.
hologram mask from AEW shop yet?
I cannot say that I
If
have.
they didn't
No,
put out a Pento or a Phoenix match, or mask, you think they were going to put out a hologram mask?
They did. They
they
did.
did.
They
They
did.
did?
It looks
But
terrible.
they didn't do
Yeah.
it with Penta or Phoenix.
No, they did not.
That is. They did that day one
Well,
for both of them in WWE.
Yeah.
Because they knew.
well, allegedly, Hologram is Tony's creation. So
Not allegedly, he is. He's one of the Tony
le-
Khan originals.
lends to more
Not
aggrandizing
many
and
Tony
ego
Khan
stroking.
originals, but that is one of them. And it works. I prefer
Works
somebody.
is used very
That is.
loosely, but anyways.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's our show then.
All right. Then.
One more belt for Mercedes Moné.
Oh my God, you're really trying to extend the show, aren't you?
No, I didn't really want to talk about that much, but I
But you
mean,
brought it
right?
up. You gotta end
Yeah.
our show
Well,
on such a damper.
Are you gonna bring
yeah.
out the Jey Uso hate? Are you gonna say no yeet and how much you don't like him?
Would you like me to?
No, not really, because I like Jey.
Okay. Oh,
Yeet.
well, I mean, I'll give him this. His match with Cody this Monday was not bad. It was actually pretty
It was
good.
a solid match.
It was
I have
a
no
really good
problem
match.
saying when he has bad matches. That was a fine match. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I really like the finish of that match too. Jey Uso took that like Kenny Omega took Crush. I was like Kenny Omega took it right on the dome.
Yeah.
Hey, it looked killer.
Well, with that Samoan cranium, he can handle it.
Sure,
Yeah, you don't
have
headbutt a
the ring.
Samoan. You do not headbutt a Samoan. But Donnie, you got anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
Brandon?
Don't give him an
I'm just
What do you
opportunity.
think about it?
You should have stopped me before when you heard me breathe in there. But no, I'm good. We are golden.
That's episode 44, boys. Next week we'll talk about Night of Champions, SmackDown. SmackDown title matches is. I don't know if there's anything else we got to talk about next week. Is there?
No.
Yeah, I mean, any Raw developments as they happen, but I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So
Maybe we'll talk about America's Independence Day and the wrestling happenings that happened then.
The fuck? You're gonna bring that up and not Canada Day? What the hell is wrong with you?
I was gonna say, you got your own day.
We record on Canada Day next week.
Is that Canada Day? Then we'll talk. We'll just make it a Bret Hart episode.
Asshole.
Bret Hart, Christian, and Edge. That's it.
How dare
Our
you?
I don't know your holidays.
It's the same weekend as yours.
I don't know your holidays. Give me a break here.
This is why we do research, Pierce.
I'm just getting
Do you
into
not
the Canadian
remember
side of
the
things.
AI picture that Brandon
Why you gotta-
generated?
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Holy shit!
He's on your side here. What the hell? Brother.
That was some horse shit.
Okay,
It was hilarious. No offense, Brandon. It was bad, but it was really funny.
My heart was in the right place, but clearly not
But
my
the AIs was not.
Oh,
no, clearly not. No,
I'm sending us
Canada
home
was
after
still
that. I don't
Canada
think we
was
oh.
can
still in
top
the
that,
empire.
boys.
I think all you need to be on a watch list for Canada, as far as I'm concerned at this point.
There's a reason why I'm not allowed in that country.
Nah, I'm not letting Pearson at this point either.
Man, you know what? When I fly out, I'm buying the double doubles. Will that make I'll buy you some double doubles. I'll even call them double doubles. Will
You
that make it
fucking
better?
better call them double doubles.
All right, I'm gonna stack my bag with coffee crisp and fucking all dressed chips. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
All right, boys. I'm gonna take us home. Thanks for stopping in the Ope three-way. Have a beer on us. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.